Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. When Mickey Lee walked out of the Big Brother house on eviction night, fans expected fireworks. What they didn't expect was the emotional, unfiltered truth bomb that followed. In a raw, candid post-show interview that's now lighting up social media, Mickey finally broke her silence about the complicated dynamic between Morgan and Vince and didn't hold back when explaining why she believes Rachel is not nice. For weeks inside the house, viewers watched alliances shift, friendships fracture, and relationships evolve under the pressure of competition and confinement. But according to Mickey, what the cameras showed was only a fraction of the real story. Now that she's free from the game, she's ready to spill everything. The truth about Morgan and Vince. From the outside, Morgan and Vince appeared to be one of the strongest and most consistent duos of the season, close allies with an unspoken bond that confused house guests and delighted fans. Their chemistry sparked endless speculation. Were they strategic partners, secret lovers, or something far more complicated? Mickey says the truth lived somewhere in between. People think it was either fake for the game or real in a fairy tale way, but it was way messier than that. They cared about each other deeply, but they weren't always honest with each other, and that created cracks. According to Mickey, Morgan trusted Vince almost completely in the early weeks. He was her emotional anchor, the person she confided in when paranoia set in or when alliances started to collapse. Vince, meanwhile, leaned on Morgan for strategic reassurance and grounding. They were each other's safe place. But safety can turn into dependency really fast in that house. What fans didn't see, she claims, were the late-night arguments just outside the camera's main angles. Subtle mistrust crept in as both players started expanding their individual strategies. Mickey explained, Morgan started to realize Vince had deals with people he swore he didn't, and Vince felt like Morgan was getting emotionally distant once she gained power. The tension didn't erupt into one explosive fight. Instead, it quietly reshaped their entire dynamic. They never confronted it head-on. They just smiled through it. That's what made it so painful to watch. Was their relationship real or just strategy? This is the question fans still debate relentlessly online. Were Morgan and Vince actually in love, or was their bond nothing more than mutual survival? Mickey believes it started as genuine. The feelings were real at first. You don't fake those looks at 3 a.m. when you think no one's watching, she said. But as the prize money grew closer, emotions and gameplay collided. At some point, both of them chose the game over the relationship. They just never admitted it out loud. Mickey suggests that they were both terrified of being vulnerable in a game designed to reward betrayal. They loved each other in the safest way possible. That means never choosing each other when it actually mattered. That internal tug-of-war, she says, ultimately weakened both of their games. They stopped being honest. They started second-guessing, and every unspoken doubt chipped away at the trust that once made them unstoppable. Why Mickey and Rachel never clicked. While the Morgan-Vince relationship dominated fan discussions, another tension quietly simmered behind the scenes, the icy dynamic between Mickey and Rachel. When asked directly why she called Rachel not nice, Mickey didn't hesitate. Rachel knows how to be charming for the cameras, but kindness in private? That's a different story. Mickey claims Rachel often belittled other house guests when she thought no one was listening. There were comments about people's intelligence, their bodies, their backgrounds, always quiet, always sneaky. She recalls one moment that shifted her entire view of Rachel. I was crying in the storage room after a bad competition loss. I was vulnerable. Rachel walked in, looked at me, and said, "Weak players don't last long in here." Then she left. Mickey admits she tried to brush it off as gameplay at first, but the pattern continued. It wasn't strategy. It was cruelty disguised as confidence. Rachel's issue with Morgan. According to Mickey, one of Rachel's biggest insecurities centered around Morgan. She felt threatened by Morgan from day one, not just by her game, but by her likability. Viewers often saw Rachel target Morgan in confessionals, criticizing her emotional decisions and close bond with Vince. Mickey believes that jealousy played a role. She wanted to be the girl everyone trusted, but it was Morgan, and that burned her. Mickey claims Rachel actively planted seeds of doubt about Morgan to weaken her position. She would say things like, "Morgan's too emotional to win," or "Vince is carrying her." And she said it enough times that people started repeating it. This, Mickey says, contributed heavily to the breakdown in Morgan's confidence and ultimately her downfall. The night everything changed. Mickey remembers one particular night that, in her words, blew the whole house dynamic wide open. It was after a tense eviction, one that sent home a player close to Morgan. Emotions were raw, alliances were scrambling, and after hours of drinking and whispered strategy, things turned ugly. Morgan finally confronted Vince about the side deals, and Mickey revealed that Rachel was watching the whole thing from the kitchen. Morgan accused Vince of lying. Vince denied it. Voices rose, tears followed, and then, according to Mickey, Rachel stepped in. But not to help, to stir it up. Rachel allegedly suggested that Morgan was being paranoid and unstable, comments that devastated her. Morgan shut down completely after that. That was the moment their relationship never recovered. How the house treated Morgan afterward. Following that confrontation, Morgan became isolated. Mickey believes the narrative around her shifted unfairly. She went from strong competitor to emotional liability overnight. She was left out of strategy meetings, information stopped flowing to her, even Vince, torn between loyalty and self-preservation, started pulling away. That's when I realized the house had chosen its villain, and it was Morgan. Mickey admits she tried to warn Morgan, but the damage was already done. She still trusted Vince, even when she shouldn't anymore. Vince's regret, according to Mickey. Out of everyone involved, Mickey believes Vince carries the most unspoken regret. He made choices that got him further in the game, but cost him the one person who had his back from day one. After Morgan's eviction, Vince withdrew emotionally. Mickey noticed the shift instantly. He stopped laughing, stopped celebrating wins. It looked like he won battles but lost himself. She believes Vince never expected Morgan to leave before him. He thought he had time to fix things. In this game, time is a lie. Rachel's game versus Rachel's character. Despite her harsh words about Rachel's personality, Mickey acknowledges that Rachel played a sharp, calculated game. She's brilliant strategically. I'll never take that away from her. But she draws a firm line between smart gameplay and personal behavior. You can manipulate without demeaning people. You can compete without humiliating others. Mickey says Rachel crossed that line repeatedly. That's why I said she's not nice. Not because she's strong, because she enjoyed breaking people when she didn't have to. Where everyone stands now. Since leaving the house, Mickey says she has spoken privately with both Morgan and Vince. Morgan is still healing. That experience broke her heart in ways fans didn't see. As for Vince, he's apologetic, genuinely. But sometimes apologies come too late to fix the damage. And Rachel? Mickey says there's been no communication. I'm okay with that. What the fans don't understand. Mickey wants viewers to remember one crucial truth about Big Brother. This game messes with your head, with your identity, with your trust. People become versions of themselves they don't recognize outside. She says none of them walked out unchanged. Morgan became guarded. Vince became haunted. Rachel became more defensive. And Mickey became louder because I refused to let the quiet moments be rewritten. Final thoughts: love, betrayal, and the cost of winning. At its core, Mickey believes this season of Big Brother wasn't just about competitions or strategy. It was about what people are willing to sacrifice in pursuit of victory. Morgan sacrificed her heart. Vince sacrificed his honesty. Rachel sacrificed kindness. And for Mickey herself, I sacrificed silence. As the season continues to ignite debate online, fans remain divided over who was right, who was wrong, and who played the best game. But one thing is clear. The truth, or at least one version of it, is finally out. Whether it changes public opinion or just deepens the controversy,
Mickey Lee has made sure her side of the story will not be forgotten. And in a house built on secrets, that might be the
When Mickey
boldest
Lee
move
finally
of all.
walked out of the Big Brother house, she did not just leave with memories of strategy and survival. She left with stories that changed how fans now view the season. In her first long interview after eviction, Mickey opened up about the truth behind the relationship between Morgan and Vince, and also explained why she believes Rachel is not nice. Her words quickly spread across social media and shocked viewers who thought they understood everything that happened inside the house. Mickey explained that the connection between Morgan and Vince was real at first. She said their bond grew fast during the early weeks when both felt alone and unsure of who to trust. According to Mickey, they found comfort in each other during late nights and quiet moments between competitions. She said they talked about life outside the game and shared fears about losing. At that stage, it was not just strategy. It was emotional and sincere. As the game moved forward, things began to change. Mickey revealed that Vince slowly became more focused on deals and secret plans with other players. Morgan started to feel that distance, and it hurt her deeply. Mickey noticed Morgan becoming quieter during the day and more anxious at night. She said Morgan often questioned whether Vince still had her back or if he was playing both sides. Vince never fully admitted the truth, and that created a silent wall between them. Mickey said the relationship between Morgan and Vince did not end with one big fight. It faded through small moments of doubt. A missed conversation, a broken promise, a look of disappointment, all of it added up. By the time they realized what was happening, the trust they once shared was already damaged. Mickey described it as watching two people drift apart while standing in the same room. When asked if the relationship was ever just strategy, Mickey answered honestly. She said the feelings were real, but fear changed everything. The closer they got to the finale, the harder it became to protect each other. Vince wanted to secure his path to the end. Morgan wanted loyalty more than anything. In the end, neither could fully give the other what they needed. Mickey also spoke about Morgan after the relationship started to fall apart. She said Morgan became a target without even knowing it. People began to describe her as emotional and unstable. That label followed her into strategy talks and competitions. Mickey believes this shift was partly caused by Rachel. She said Rachel helped push the idea that Morgan was too emotional to win the game. This is where Mickey grew more serious with her words. When asked why she believes Rachel is not nice, Mickey did not hesitate. She said Rachel was one person in public and another person in private. According to Mickey, Rachel often spoke down to people when cameras were not directly on her. She said Rachel made quiet comments meant to tear others down. These were not game moves, they were personal. Mickey shared one moment that stayed with her. After a hard loss in a competition, Mickey said she was sitting alone, trying to calm down. Rachel entered the room, looked at her, and said, "Weak players do not last long here." Then she walked out. Mickey said that moment showed her exactly who Rachel was beneath the confident smile. Rachel also had a strong issue with Morgan from the beginning. She said Rachel felt threatened by Morgan, both as a competitor and as a person. Morgan was liked by many in the house, and that bothered Rachel deeply. Mickey believes jealousy played a role in how Rachel treated Morgan. She said Rachel worked quietly to damage Morgan's image through conversations and subtle comments. The tension between Morgan and Vince reached a breaking point after a dramatic eviction night. Mickey said emotions were high and trust was thin. Morgan confronted Vince directly about side deals he had made. Vince denied everything. Their voices rose and tears followed. While this happened, Rachel watched from nearby. According to Mickey, Rachel stepped in not to help, but to make the situation worse. She questioned Morgan's stability and made her seem unreasonable. That moment crushed Morgan and ended whatever remained of the relationship. After that night, Mickey said Morgan was never the same. She became isolated. Strategy talks happened without her. Information stopped reaching her. Even Vince pulled away to protect his own game. Mickey said, "I could see the heartbreak in Morgan's eyes, but the game kept moving and did not allow time for healing." When Morgan was finally evicted, Mickey said Vince broke inside. He stayed in the game, but his spirit changed. He stopped celebrating wins. He stopped laughing the same way. Mickey believes Vince realized too late that the game had cost him something real. She said he carried regret quietly for the rest of his time in the house. Mickey also made it clear that although she doesn't like Rachel on a personal level, she still respects her as a player. She said Rachel is intelligent and strategic, but she also said there is a difference between being a strong competitor and being unkind. In her eyes, Rachel crossed that line too many times. That is why she stands by her words that Rachel is not nice. Since leaving the house, Mickey has spoken privately with Morgan and Vince. She said Morgan is still hurting and trying to understand everything that happened. The betrayal affected her deeply. Vince, on the other hand, feels guilty and has apologized. Mickey believes his regret is genuine, but she also believes some wounds never heal fully. As for Rachel, Mickey said they don't speak and that it's for the best. She said not every relationship is meant to be repaired. Sometimes peace comes from distance. In her final thoughts, Mickey reminded fans that Big Brother changes people. She said the walls and cameras and pressure can twist emotions and magnify fear. People become different versions of themselves inside that house. Some find strength, some lose kindness, some lose trust. She believes this season showed all sides of human nature. Mickey said Morgan lost her sense of security. Vince lost his honesty. Rachel lost the chance to be remembered for kindness. And she herself lost her silence. By speaking out, Mickey believes she has finally closed that chapter of her life. The season may be over, but the emotions remain. Fans continued to debate who was right and who was wrong. But one thing is certain. The story of Morgan and Vince, and the role Rachel played in it, will be remembered as one of the most emotional chapters of the season. And Mickey Lee has made sure the world knows her truth.